Hello, today is the first day of STAAR review. On this first day, we are going to do a overview of what STAAR review will look like and also do a tour of knowledge where we just kind of review all the different topics we've talked about this year. So this is the front of your packet. Please make sure you put your name at the top and your class period. On the back side of that cover page, you have calendar of events. So this is the whole STAAR review on there for you. Each day, I tell you what topic you're covering. I even put days for the upcoming STAAR test. 8th graders, y'all have the 4 STAAR test, and my 7th graders, you just have the reading and the math. All right, so starting with day 1, it's called the Tour of Knowledge. There are general topics we have covered throughout the year. Below is a list of those topics. So these topics right here is everything we've covered this year. We have real numbers, proportional, non-proportional reasoning, equations and inequalities. We have geometry and measurement. This one is the 2D, which is transformations. Remember that. And then we have geometry and measurement, Pythagorean theorem. Geometry and measurement, 3D geometry, which is volume and surface area. And then we have data analysis and personal financial literacy. So on the back side of that page, we have a table. And this table has all of those topics listed. We're going to do a quick overview of what those topics are and kind of refresh our memories on what did we do to learn about those things. So the first topic we're going to talk about is real numbers. Real numbers, that's whenever we ordered numbers. We ordered them from least to greatest, greatest to least. This is also where we learned how to convert numbers between fractions and decimals. We also have scientific notation. That's where we found that quick way to write really big and really small numbers. And then we also have classifying. That's where we talked about real numbers, whole numbers, integers, all that other kind of stuff. So that's the real numbers topic that we talked about. The next one, proportional, non-proportional. Go ahead and circle that for me. The reason I want you to circle this topic name for me is because this is one of the biggest topics of 8th grade math. So that means on the STAAR test, a lot of questions are going to come from this topic. In this topic, we talked about slope and y-intercepts. Remember, slope is rise over run. It's the steepness of a line. The y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. We also talked about proportional versus non-proportional. Remember, if it's proportional, it goes through the origin, and it has to be a straight line. Another thing we talked about is y equals mx plus b. That is a non-proportional equation. And also in this topic is functions. And hopefully you remember our rule for functions. Don't repeat your x's. Next, we have equations and inequalities. In this one, we talked about how to solve equations, and we can use our calculator for that. It's pretty cool. We also talked about models. So how to look at models and see equations. And we also talked about how to write equations and inequalities. 2D geometry. Remember, this is where we did all that patty paper lessons and activities, all that patty paper, right? So in this category, we have 4 types of transformations. We have dilations, we have translations, we have reflections, and we have rotations. Okay. Another thing that gets talked about in this topic is orientation and congruence. We're also going to circle this topic name because this is another big part of the 8th grade math STAAR test. Now, there's a lot of rules and stuff that go into this topic, but today is just an overview. We will get more in detail on the specific STAAR review days. The next topic we have is 2D geometry, the Pythagorean theorem. Hopefully you remember our song, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and that's called the Pythagorean theorem. It has to do with right triangles, right? We have ABC. So it's right triangles. We use the Pythagorean theorem, right? So they can also have word problems, models, pictures, all that can be included in this topic. The next one, 2D geometry, volume and surface area. We're gonna go ahead and circle this one too. This is the 3rd and one of the 3 biggest of the 8th grade math curriculum. So this is also a big chunk of where your STAAR test questions will come from. So 3D geometry, volume and surface area. So in this topic, we have volume. And there's 3 shapes that we have volume on: cylinder, cone, and a sphere. Remember, volume is how much can go inside. And then we have surface area. And we have 3 shapes here too. We have a rectangular prism and a triangular prism. And then we have cylinders. For this topic, we need to use our reference sheet for those formulas and our calculator to solve. Then we have data analysis. This is those scatter plots where we use trend lines to make predictions. It also talks about associations, which is like the positive, negative, no association, linear, nonlinear. Also on here is mean absolute deviation. And then the last topic that we covered is personal financial literacy. That's where they talk about money, right? We have simple and compound interest, cost of college, loans, credit cards, stuff like that. So here are the 8 topics that we've covered this year. I just did a quick overview of everything we've talked about this year. The three biggest things in this review that we're going to cover: proportional, non-proportional reasoning, 2D geometry, which is transformations, and 3D geometry, which is volume and surface area. Those are the three biggest parts of your STAAR test. So what you're going to do now is you're going to complete your Google form assignment. What you're going to do is you're going to look at the question and determine which category or which topic does that question belong in.